After we have our doubling up and tripling up going forward, the next step is how to go backwards. Well, by using this movement that I talked about. So what I'm doing right there is I'm backspinning and releasing quick enough so as to not interrupt the flow of going in 16th notes while doing the vocal cuts. Because if you count it, what's happening is rock the 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. These are 16 syllables in one bar. So there's 16th notes, and this is what it's gonna sound like over the beat. The more syllables you have to go back, the harder this movement is going to be. But if you start with just, and you can start a cappella and just, if you have an ultra pitch turntable, set it to lowest, minus 50, and do. So without the fader, it's going to sound like this. Obviously that doesn't sound too good, but it's always good to check what's happening with your record hand without using the fader, because if you're not clean with this, whatever you do with the fader, it's just not gonna work. And that's why I started with these 4 essential moves that you need to be able to do as clean as you can before you move on. And I'll finish part 2 with some practice advice, starting from this one. If you struggle with the doubling up, try to split it up in parts. Remember that I said that there are no separate one syllable stabs or release movements involved, because what you do really is release syllables 1 and 2 and then release syllables 2 and 3. So slowed down, that means with a bigger pause between the first time we hear syllable 2 and the second time we hear syllable 2. It sounds like this. And the difference between this and this is just how fast we're going to go back to the beginning of syllable 2 and drop it again. Then, advice number 2, if you struggle with the getting back to a syllable that you want to get back to, or even if it's just the first syllable when you're attempting to do this, then one very simple practice method is to try to just continuously drop syllables 1 and 2 and just go back like this. Or to make better sense of it, over a beat. Which in reality is no different from what I showed in the beginning of part 1, where I showed you guys that normally in a very beginner kind of way we drop the sample that we're using, whether it's a phrase or not, maybe like this. But we can make this more difficult by extending the length of the sample that we drop, and then it's which makes this backspin a little more difficult. So what I showed just right now is only the next step into practicing this type of backspinning quick release, and we go like And practice advice number 3, if you struggle with the tripling up, again, attempt it a cappella and break it down into segments. Although with this one it's a bit trickier because what you end up having when you split it up is quite different from the actual end result that you want to achieve. But let me show you. So first I'm gonna release the first 2 syllables. And then I'll just drop one time the second syllable. And then drop syllables 2 and 3. And together, but slowed down, it's gonna be like that. Then slowly I can start to attempt to bring these 3 closer together. Maybe first I'll try to bring the first and second closer together. And it's gonna be like then I'll try to bring closer together the second and the third. And then just proceed to try to do, but maybe slow it down and proceed to try to do what I want to achieve, which is the tripling up, as I call it. And right now I'll just show you this practice exercise over the beat. Finally, practice advice number 4, which I think is more relevant for beginner and lower intermediate scratchers, is to think about what you currently already have in your vocab and combine it with what you're currently learning. This is, I think, a very basic principle, and this is why I say it's not really relevant if you already have a decent scratch level, regardless of whether you think it's intermediate, advanced. I'm a bit confused with how people define levels of scratching these days. But basically, if you've scratched for a while, you know that this is something to be done, right? But what I mean is, if you grab the ah sound, and you've already learned some basic funky stuff, for example, some chirps, triplet chirps maybe, or maybe some Joe Coolies. Specifically talking about techniques that stay or can stay at the tip of your sample, you can apply them to the beginning of the phrase and then proceed to combine it with the stuff which I just showed. And what I mean would sound something like that.